everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Expat Teacher Tales. I'm your host, Sourjya Mukherjee, and today we are diving into something we have all faced at some point: the job interview. As the job hunting season has begun and the heat is up, and as a recruiter myself, I realized many candidates, sometimes including myself in the past, unknowingly make some mistakes which can be a complete disaster. Now, as we all know, interviews can be nerve-wracking. You are trying to impress, get that role. I completely get you. But sometimes, in the heat of the moment, we say things we wish we hadn't. But don't worry, I've got your back. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through the top things you definitely should not say during a teacher job interview. Let's get into it, shall we? First up, most of the time at the end of an interview, the hiring team do give the candidate an opportunity to ask questions. But in many cases, I have seen candidates saying, I don't have any questions. And man, that's a big mistake. The hiring team wants to see if you're really interested in the role. And the only way to do that is by asking questions. It's not just a polite thing, it's a must do. Ask about the school's approach towards professional developments, or what the school culture is like, or what are the chances of you learning new things? Or it can be even, how is success measured in the school? It shows you have done your homework and you are ready to engage. Next, here's another one. Many candidates do say, I don't know much about your school. Oh man, if you're applying to a job, you better know something about the place you are going to work, isn't it? It doesn't have to be super detailed, but at least look up their website or the mission statement or the vision, or if the school is going through some kind of projects that the students are working on, something. Show them you care enough to know what they are about. Now, the next one is pretty tricky. Many a times when candidate is asked, so what are your strengths and weaknesses? We are always ready with our strengths. But most of the times, the candidates do come up saying, I don't have weaknesses. Please don't say this. We all have them, and saying you don't is a big red flag. I get it. No one likes to talk about weaknesses, but owning them shows self-awareness. No one's perfect. No one's expecting you to be perfect. So maybe next time you can try something like, let's say I used to struggle with data analysis, for example, but I have been working on it by learning from YouTube or working along with a mentor, something. So you mention about an area which you genuinely struggle with, but you also show them how you are working towards a solution. It shows interest and growth. Okay, real talk. If you were let go, don't start with, I was fired from my last job. Instead of focusing on the negative, spin it positively. Now, remember, I am not asking you to lie. Never ever do that, because eventually the recruiter will find it out. Talk about what you learned from that experience and how it helped you to grow. Not everybody is fit for all the roles, and that's perfectly fine. You want to show them you have learned and moved forward, not dwell on past mistakes. Next, saying, I'm not great at the time management. No, come on. As a teacher, time management is crucial. If this is something you struggle with, that's okay. But make sure you mention what you are doing to improve. You could say, I have started using a planner and prioritizing tasks. I maintain a to do list, and that's really helping me to stay on track. Boom, problem solved. Remember, like I mentioned before, no one's expecting you to be perfect. But what is expected is you to be aware of your areas of improvement and also to demonstrate what are you doing to improve. Now, it sounds a bit of a cliche, but many a times you are asked, even today, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? I personally do not like that question, to be honest, but it's asked sometimes. Now, I have heard candidates saying, I don't really have a career goal. Honestly, this doesn't sound like a winner. Employers want someone with ambition, someone who's looking to grow. You don't have to have everything planned out, but talk about where you see yourself going. What do you might want to achieve? Maybe you want to develop your teaching skills, take on leadership roles, or explore new areas like special education. Just show that you are thinking about your future. No one's going to ask for a roadmap, no one's going to ask for your planner. You get what I'm saying. Next up, saying, I'm looking for any job right now, makes it sound like you are not really interested in their job specifically. You just need a job, any job. Instead, focus on why this specific role excites you. And for that, like I mentioned at the beginning, do your homework. Read the job description. It tells a lot. That's the whole purpose of the job description. Highlight aspects of the school or position that align with your skills and passion. This will show the interviewer you are interested in this opportunity and not just any random job opening. Now, next one is a killer. I remember, this is from my experience, a candidate, when I asked her, why do you want to switch school or why would you like to move to our school? Very casually, she mentioned, I hated my last boss. Never go there. Even if your last boss was the worst, don't trash talk them in the interview. It tells a lot about you as an individual. Instead, focus on what you learned from that experience. Maybe there were communication issues and you learned how to manage things better. That shows maturity and professionalism. Please do keep this in mind. Never ever trash talk about your previous company, previous bosses. Now, here comes the classic one. How much does this job pay? Right off the bat, it's a turnoff. Yes, salary is important, but it shouldn't be your first question. Wait until you are offered the position to discuss salary or ask about professional development opportunities first. This shows you are more interested and invested in the role than just the paycheck. Now, I have heard this many times from candidates. They say, I know I'm underqualified, but stop right there. Never start a sentence like that. Instead of drawing attention to your perceived shortcomings, highlight your strengths and your eagerness to learn. Like I mentioned, nobody is expecting you to be perfect. Say something like, while I don't have experience in such and such area, I'm a fast learner and really excited to dive in and improve. You might even have some questions pertinent to that. Ask them. That's perfectly fine. You are not just selling your qualifications, you are selling your enthusiasm and willingness to improve. If it would have been just your qualification for sale, then it was already mentioned in your CV. Finally, let's talk about the disastrous question which I have heard, to be honest, twice or thrice in recent times, wherein candidates ask, when can I get promoted? Asking this too soon is a bit much. Instead, show that you are excited to get started and that you are committed to learning and contributing and growing in the role. Remember, it needs to be a win-win, right? Ask about professional development or training opportunities or leadership opportunities instead. This will show you are looking to grow, but you're focused on the job at hand. And that's a wrap. These are just a few of the things you want to avoid saying in your next teacher job interview. Now, what are the key takeaways? Be prepared. Do your homework. Be professional. Never ever trash talk about anyone or anything from the past. Talk about your learning. And lastly, be confident. You know yourself way better than the person on the other side of the table or other side of the screen. You know your strength, talk about it. You know your weaknesses, talk about it as well and tell them how you are working to improve on it. Don't just talk about what you have done. Talk about what you are excited to do, how you can contribute. Show them that you are passionate, eager to grow, and ready to be a part of their team. Thanks for tuning in to Expat Teacher Tales. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to share it with a friend or a colleague who might be prepping up for their next interview. And as always, do subscribe, hit the bell icon to receive notification every time a new episode is released, which is, by the way, every other Saturday, and stay tuned for more tips and stories. Catch you in the next one, and good luck with the interviews.